We know the theory, but let's see how we actually implement it. Before ES 2015, you had to use the VAR keyword. And that's why you'll see a lot of JavaScript code with the VAR keyword. And all you have to do is put the name of your container, the name of your variable, after the VAR keyword. Here we've got VAR name, VAR balance, and VAR logged in. But just remember, at this stage, we've not yet assigned values to these variables. So the value of each variable will be undefined. And this brings us on to step 2. Remember what step 2 was? That was when you initialized your variable. And that means the JavaScript engine assigns the variable to memory. That's all it means. But you've done nothing else in your code. You've done nothing more. You've still just written var name, var balance, var logged in. And remember, when it assigns this to memory, it is going to place an undefined value to each of those variables because we have not yet assigned a value. And this brings us to the final and most important step, and that is assigning a value to a variable. We use the equal sign as an assignment operator, and that just means assign Wally Smart to the variable name. That's all that means. Something I want to show you before we move on is this var keyword that we use to define a variable. This was the old school way, but I just want you to understand how it worked. So let's just open up the console. And let's define using the old school var way. So let's say var user is Wally Smart. This is what's going to happen. We've now defined this user in the var variable. To call the user, we just have to type it, and the computer, the parser, the browser, it knows that it's a variable. It knows the value is Wally Smart. But this is what's interesting. Every single variable that you use in your code has either local or global scope. And like I said, we're going to get into scope later, but all that means is that if it's a global scope, it's visible absolutely everywhere, and you can use that variable everywhere. If it's locally scoped, it means that you can only use it in limited situations. With the var keyword, which is what we've done here, if we're not defining it within a function, it is going to have automatically global scope. And let me show you this. This is what's cool. If we type the window object into our console, and remember we went over the window object, we went over the BOM in one of the previous lectures. If we open this up, I'd expect us to be able to find user. And there it is. There's our user that we've defined, Wally Smart. What that means is that it's available globally. We can use that absolutely anywhere. We can even use it in a function and it'll know what it is. Let me show you. So now let's use it in a function. I'll show you that we've got access to this variable called user anywhere. Let's just call the function test, for lack of a better word. And let's console log user. Understand what it is we've just done here. We've used a variable user in a function, but this function scope, we've never defined user. So where's it going to get it from? Well, it's going to get it from the global scope. And all we have to do is call the function. And to call a function, you just state the function name, which is test, and you have the brackets. And that just means execute. So let's execute it. And there you go. It console logs the user, which in this case is Wally Smart. Hope it's making sense. But let's move on to more important ways to declare variables, and that is with the let and const keyword.